Okay, something different, something a little maybe weird. Anyways, I was just having a shower after the last reading, and the one that's called which archangel is connecting with you, or something like that. I don't even know what I'm calling it exactly yet. It's uploading right now. But I was having a shower and bath slash shower because that's what I do. However, often I'm very connected to water. Okay, I'm very, very connected to water. So that's often when little aha moments come, or little gems come. So what they spoke about in there, I was thinking about, I was using a shampoo, and it's a certain kind of shampoo, and I was remembering long ago when I was, young in my 20s, and I bought these big bottles of these shampoos to last me for, quite some time, and the big bottles cost a little bit more money. And I was traveling across Canada to go tree planting, actually, and I left them in one of the motels, and I was so upset because I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I was I was, yeah. Anyways, so I actually called the motel to ask them if they could return the shampoo, mail the shampoo to me. But they said that they, didn't find it. I must not have left it there. So I know I left it there, obviously. I didn't leave it somewhere between there and my car. So anyway, so, it's so interesting because all these years later, that still popped into my head. And I thought, why am I still holding on to that? That loss, that feeling that someone took from me. Because I assume, they just didn't want to deal with mailing it to me, even though I offered to pay, and maybe someone took it home, one of the housekeepers or something. And so I was like, why am I holding on to that? And why do I still have some maybe resentment toward that? So I heard forgive it. Let go of the anger and resentment toward the loss and toward the taking. And then the aha that came to me is that taking is part of receiving, okay? It's a part that we have to forgive. And what came was those who are in fear and lack consciousness take to receive. So we need to forgive taking, is what I know, okay? And yeah, we need to forgive taking. These are for later. So I heard to come and do this reading, but to leave the cards, the archangel cards out that were here from the last reading, and with their stones of unconditional love. So unconditional love is when you forgive all and let go of all anger and resentment toward, and love unconditionally, right? So that's what I'm practicing right now in this very moment. I'm forgiving taking. I'm forgiving loss. I'm forgiving all ways of receiving. I'm forgiving those who are in fear and scarcity consciousness for only knowing how to take versus receive. Okay? So I heard to come and shuffle the cards. So what do they want to say to us about taking and receiving? Okay. So this is interesting. Yeah, this is really interesting. They're all reversed. They all came reversed. So so this is what happens to people who are in fear and scarcity consciousness, okay? They don't believe their hard work is ever going to pay off, okay? That's what this is saying. They carry anxiety around with them. They stay up, anxiety keeps them up at night. This fear that their hard work is never going to pay off, this fear that they're never going to receive their just rewards. It keeps them up at night, okay? And it robs them of joy, of celebration, of this is like a celebration, like a formal celebration, and joy, a joyous event. This could be marriage, or this could be, a family reunion, or it could be a community thing, but it's a formal celebration. So yeah, so those who are in fear and scarcity consciousness, lack consciousness, this is what they believe. Hard work is never going to pay off. It keeps them up at night, and it robs them of their joy, of their celebration, of all of this. So that's why they think it's okay to take, okay? Because they're being robbed. Nothing's fair, right? So yeah, it's what happens. It's just what happens. So we need to forgive that. We need to let go of the anger and resentment toward those people who are in fear, lack scarcity consciousness, okay? And those who only know how to take. It's the only way of receiving they know, okay? We need to forgive it, all right? I know it's difficult, but we need to forgive it. And what I knew when I was in the shower thinking about the shampoo is maybe the person who took my shampoo home needed it more than me, okay? There's always someone that might be more in this lack, fear, loss consciousness than you are, okay? I was definitely in that fear, lack, scarcity, loss, fear of loss consciousness back then, okay? And I was quite deeply in it. But there could always be someone more deeply in it than you are, okay? And this is bringing emotion up for me, actually, some actually, you know, I'm tearing up to think of those who are possibly in more deeply in it than others, right? There are. So we need to have compassion for them. That's why this compassion card has been coming up over and over again in the readings. We need to have compassion for those who are less fortunate, because those who are less fortunate are those who are, you know, more deeply in this consciousness. And they could look wealthy, is what I'm hearing. You know, we see it all the time. We see extremely wealthy people who are very fearful and take and take and take, right? They don't want to pay for anything because they're so deeply ingrained in this fear of loss, fear of lack, you know, this scarcity consciousness. So it doesn't mean, just because someone's wealthy doesn't mean they're not deeply entrenched in this consciousness, okay? That's what I'm hearing right now. And that's what we need to realize. So we need to have compassion. We need to forgive. By forgive, it's not saying that they're not held accountable. It's not saying that they don't suffer the consequences. It's saying that we let go of any anger or resentment that we hold toward them. All right? And we replace that with love and compassion, unconditional love and compassion. Okay, now these 3 cards are what we want to see. Yeah. So it's like this. This is the order. Okay, is this the order? This is the order. Okay, the original order. So this is the Fool card. So when we forgive and we let go of all that anger and resentment toward anything, and we love unconditionally, we start anew. We start with a clean slate. We're like the Fool, and we're fearless and free. Okay, that's what they're saying. So when we do this, it unchains us. Okay, it unleashes us. It allows us to be free. Forgiveness, you find freedom in forgiveness. There's a chakra card that says that, and it's so true. Okay, so we free ourselves. Okay, we free ourselves from this when we forgive it. Okay. So anything that you're, you know, like that came up for me today. Why am I holding on to this? You know, this, and that was showing me that I still had a little bit of, you know, fear consciousness, a little bit of lack consciousness, scarcity consciousness, fear of loss consciousness, whatever, that I was holding on to because I was still remembering that and still, you know, feeling robbed or taken advantage of or whatever. So it really brought that to light. So when I forgive it, I free myself of it. Okay. And then I open myself to these 2 things. You know, this arrival card on the physical, material level, arriving, having all of my desires, okay? Being able to achieve them and to receive them. Oh, when I forgive this, I'm able to receive. When I forgive taking, I'm able to receive. Okay, and this is the Queen of Pentacles. She knows how to receive. She knows how to give and receive, though. See, she's perfectly balanced. And she holds this center, this middle place, this balance between the spiritual and the physical, between the giving and the receiving, between the darkness and the light, between all, right? She has that connection point. She has that bond. She stays focused on the bond where all is allowed, where all belongs, where all is forgiven and loved unconditionally. And that's how she's such a good receiver. That's why she's the queen of receiving, okay? On the material, physical world, okay? So when you free yourself through forgiveness of this consciousness, you bring this to you. All right, so that's something they wanted to share. In the earlier, Metatron is trying to bring us that wisdom, right? My pile number ones will know this. But Metatron is ancient wisdom, okay? Sachiel is wealth and prosperity, okay? And Raphael is healing. So the three of them combined from the last reading are really working with us, okay? Really working with us to get this, to understand this, to understand. That's what it kept saying, to understand the flow, to understand the King of Hearts, where he is in complete flow. And it starts with the emotional, spiritual level, right? It starts with the unconditional love. That's why we have all these pink stones here. It starts with that unconditional love. It starts with that forgiveness. That is, yeah. Forgive fear. Forgive loss. Forgive lack. And forgive those who take because they're ingrained in those fears, in those fears. Okay, forgive them. Forgive yourself for having been there, for being there. Okay? Forgive yourself. Starts with you. Recognize that you have been there, are there, maybe still. Maybe there's a little piece of you that's still holding on to that. Like I realized when I thought about that shampoo. I thought, why am I thinking about this? This is so weird. Why haven't I forgiven that? Apparently I hadn't. Right? So, yeah. Forgive yourself for any taking you've ever done, for being in fear consciousness, for being in the fear of loss consciousness, for being in the lack and scarcity consciousness. Forgive yourself. Okay? Let go of any anger or resentment towards yourself for being there. And then let go of any anger and resentment to anyone else who's been there, who is there. Okay, and that's going to free you to live in this consciousness of faith, unconditional love, and abundance. All right, that's what I have for you. That's it. Okay, you go have a great day now. Bye.